Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to draw a character using Adobe Illustrator and how to make it look kind of primitive and hand-drawn, as if you did it with markers or something. Um, Illustrator is great for designing stuff that looks very precise and, like a computer made it. Um, but it can be tricky to do more hand-drawn looking stuff. So we're going to cover that right now. So let's make a new project here. All right, just something like that. And we're going to go with the paintbrush. So let's draw the character's head first of all, something like that. And now if I select it with my arrow tool, it selects the whole thing. And by default, the outline is what we just drew, and there is no fill inside there. So if I want to have a fill color, I can click this. Now it's filled it with the color white, which is the same as the background, but let's change that. Let's give him a red face. Okay. And then if we select the thing, we can go up here and, adjust the stroke width. Maybe let's have everything be a 2-point stroke width, and you can change either of those colors afterwards too. So let's click on that. Let's change it to a I'm colorblind, so I'm not sure. I'm going for like a skin tone thing, maybe something like that. You want to make sure that it has a fill color, even if you want it to be white. Otherwise, you'll put it in your video and all of a sudden his face is all see-through because you didn't fill in the color. Okay, but what if you've drawn this thing and you're like, well, I didn't get the shape quite right. It's kind of got this weird bump on his head. I want him to have more of a round face. I mean, you can always just delete it and start over. Oops. But there's an easier way to modify something that's already there. So if we go over here to the pencil tool is great for kind of fine-tuning your drawings. Okay, so it'll start out looking like the shaper. We'll just go to the pencil. Then you have to select the thing that you want to adjust and then go back to the pencil and see how we've got this line highlighted already. So I'm just going to kind of smooth out this bump here, and boom, it just changed the path for me. So as long as I start kind of on the line, if I just draw up here, it's not going to do it. But if I start on the line and end on the line, then it'll know, oh, you wanted to change that. And you can keep doing that until it's just the size that you want. Okay, so make the pencil tool your friend. Okay, now I'm going to let's put his features on here. Most of the stuff you're going to want to be on its own layer. So I'll put a new layer here, and let's draw some eyes. Okay, now I will select one of those. See, it went back to no fill. So let's turn the fill on, and these I want to be white. So I'll do that with both of these. There we go. Okay, now for the pupils, I could do those on the same layer as the eyes, sure. For this one, I'm going to use the blob paintbrush instead of the regular one. So the blob, I'll just show you the difference over here. If I draw a circle with the blob paintbrush and then I go click on it, see how you can't choose the fill color? Basically, the blob is the fill, and there's no line. So you've got an inside and you've got an outside. So the blob is good for things that you want, like the pupils, where I just want it to be a dot in there. So I can go like this, and maybe I can make the stroke bigger. Does that work? There we go. So I can just click it in there and make it be a dot. I'll delete these ones. Okay. I'll have the nose be on the same layer as the face. So I'll switch back to this. And then let's have the mouth be on its own layer. And these I want to be the same thickness as the outside, so let's select them, go up here, stroke to 2. Okay, so he's coming along. If this is a character that I want to use in an animation, then, sorry, I'm going to silence my phone here. If I want to use him in an animation, then I will want to make another version of his eyes with them blinking. So let's go here, make a new layer, go to the paintbrush, and I'm just going to draw across the eyes. So that way if I hide these ones, that's what I can use for him to blink. Okay, so for now I'll just leave those turned off. Alright, let's do a new layer here, and let's draw his body. Should he be wearing a, let's have him in a t-shirt. Okay, actually I'm going to undo that just to show you what happens. So let's say I draw it like this, and then I try and fill it, which I guess will work. What color should the t-shirt be? Okay, so it does fill it, but then you have this gap up here. So if I wanted to add to that after the fact, say I do that. Now it's 2 separate lines, right? So what you can do in that case is select both of them. So I can click on one, hold shift, click on the other, or you can select and drag. That's a little tricky because it'll select your face up here too. So I could just turn off all the layers except this. So anyway, we select them both, and then we go up here to Object, Path, Join. Okay, so now it turned it all into one path. Then I think we'll have to go back and turn the fill color on, but there we go. So let's turn our head back on. And we want the shirt to be behind the head, like that. Okay, and characters that you know you're going to animate, it's best to draw them in a T pose with their arms straight out, so that's what I'm doing here. Alright, let's draw some pants for him. So again, I'm going to draw this as if, you know, I was doing it with a marker or something and I didn't do it all at once. Alright, now let's hide these layers. So here's my pants, and I might try and turn the fill on, but see, nothing works because I did them all as separate lines. You know, so it can't fill it in. So first of all, let's select all of them. Again, go to Object, Path, Join, or Command J here is the shortcut. Okay, so now it's all one shape, and now I can turn the fill color on. I have no clue what looks good together. There we go. Alright, then let's do the same. Let's give him some hands. Oh, I need to do it on a different layer. Just makes it easier to, you know, connect the stuff afterwards. Okay, and let's do this one on another layer. And his feet. Okay, and to begin with, I'm drawing them so that they kind of complete the shape, just so it makes it easier to fill it in afterwards. Alright, so let's select both these hands, and let's turn on a fill color, and I want the same color as his skin here. So let's go up here to my eyedropper tool. There we go. Then the shoes, I don't know what color those should be. Let's just make them gray. Something like that. Okay, so now we've got our character. Last thing that I would do, just to help keep track of the layers, you're going to bring this into After Effects for animating, and it helps if they are labeled. So I would go through here, if you just double click on it, eye, blink, eyes open, mouth closed. Okay, now that everything's named, depending on how many layers you want and how you're going to animate this, let's say you wanted the arm to be totally separate, because that does make it handy for animating if the arm is separate. So what I would do, let's try just redrawing it to start out with. So I've got the path selected. Now if I go here to the pencil tool, as long as you're drawing over an existing line, then it will kind of redraw it for you. So I'm going to start here and just kind of draw it like that, and see how it redrew that part of the line. Do the same thing over here. There we go. So now that's what the body looks like. So now I can do a new layer, go over here, and something like that. I could, maybe I don't want that last line there where it fill, maybe I don't want it to fill in or have a black line there. Okay. Oh, for some reason it put it on the same layer as that. So let's undo and make sure and choose layer 10 when I draw it. Okay, now I need to turn the fill back on. Oh, I have to click it first, turn the fill on. There we go, and for some reason the thickness went back down. So let's turn that back up to 2. Okay, so there's one arm, and then I can do that with another arm over here. Okay, then select that, turn the fill on. Okay, so that will make it easier for animating, since it's different layers, and then you can select the whole layer and move it around where you want it and rotate the stuff. So there's the basics on how to draw a character in Illustrator. Oh, one last thing I should have mentioned. If this guy's ever going to talk, we want a couple more mouth shapes for him. So I'm just going to do one more that's like an open mouth, like that, and let's now select it, turn the fill on, we're going to change that to black, and put the stroke width there. Okay, so now he has an open mouth, and same with the blinking, we'll be able to turn that on and off while we're animating. So I'll label that. Okay, now we're ready to start animating this guy.